Hey, what is going on everybody? It is Nolan, or the Optimistic Gamer here, and welcome back to the Optimistic Survival Series. Today, we are finally working on our wolf enclosure. We are building a whole building for all of our different variants of wolves that we will eventually find, and it will serve as a structure to protect them and easy access if we ever want to take any of them out. So that is what we are building today. I've gathered up most of the resources and we are building it in this large flat area. I have leveled this area out right next to our town center to the north of the center right here. So our storage building is up behind us and the rest of the town, and we are working right here today. Like I said, I've gathered up most of the materials that we need, but we are still missing a few, primarily concrete and mud. We will be working with mud bricks for the first time in this series, and we will also need a little bit more gravel. Also, I remembered back a few episodes when we were digging for gravel in the nether, and I was trying to remember what we used all of this extra gravel for. It was our giant lake project over here, and I wonder if the shulker boxes are over here. They are not, unfortunately. We have entirely used up our gravel supply, and in leveling off the area right over here, because it looked much more like this prior to leveling, we have used up all of our grass and all of our dirt as well. So we are completely out of that. We're going to need to find a mountain to terraform or something like that here in the near future. But for now, it's not an issue for us. It is perfectly level as we need it to be. So now we just need to get mud and a little bit more gravel. The gravel I will go grab from the nether here in a moment, but the mud we will probably head over to the river. I already have a glass bottle on hand, and we will just do this the very easy way. Go underwater and just hold down right click with a glass bottle on a bunch of dirt. We can do that right along here. Although I might actually preserve this river since it is somewhat close to our house. So we will fly out here to the ocean and take care of this out here. And we will just hold right click and that bottle will fill up and replace all of that dirt with mud. I really need to get respiration 3 on our helmet. And we can go ahead and grab all of this mud. I'm not exactly sure how much we need. I didn't count out the materials for any parts of this build, so we may have to come back and get more, but that won't be a problem. We got about a stack and a half of mud, so that should be enough to get us started. So our first time in the series using mud bricks, and also our first time in the series where we get to use our concrete factory. So let's head upstairs and we can craft our, well, I guess I need the dyes. So we will need 8 black concrete. Well, we actually need a lot less than that, but of course 8 is the minimum, and 5 red concrete, or 40 I guess, and then the rest of it will be white concrete. So now we will take this down here and we will fill in this whole area with our concrete powder. And the white concrete as well, we can start to fill that in. And when we hit the button, that water will pour down. It will cover up the concrete, and we can hit the button again. That will scoop the water back up. And now we have solid concrete. So I'm gonna go get some of our haste from the beacon. And I guess it would not be a bad idea to build a haste 2 beacon right over here. It's not quite instant mine, but it definitely does help. Or maybe not. It seemed like it was going a little bit, well, not slower, but the same speed, generally speaking. And I have discovered a flaw to the system, but we can just fill the rest of this in with dirt and other solid blocks that we have. Netherrack is instant mine, so we can place that down. A little bit of an oversight on this, but I will figure out a solution for this in the future. So we have all of the concrete we need. Now we need to make our packed mud, and that will be crafted with wheat. And we will need, I believe, 6 packed mud for the build, and then the rest of these will be turned into mud bricks. There we go, and we are actually making mud brick walls. We will still need a few mud bricks, so I'm going to store some of those away just for safekeeping, but we will put these into our stone cutter and grab a stack of walls. I think we will need a little bit more, but that's okay. We can always travel back to the ocean over there, or even right over here to get more mud. So now we can get started on our build. Now this is one of the more fun builds that I have in the world so far. Probably the most fun, actually. It is a little bit more animated than some of these others. Definitely not all business like our town hall here. But we are sticking with a similar pattern that we have been using throughout the town, using dark oak for the pillars that go around the build. And on this build, they will be sections of 3 in between these pillars. And the build itself is symmetrical, nothing too out of the ordinary with all of that. And a stone brick base on the walls. There we go. So far, nothing too out of the ordinary, but trust me, it gets very unique and a lot of fun. So I'll go ahead and extend up these pillars. These are 5 blocks in total, and like with many of these builds, I'm not doing a tutorial here in the survival episode, but if you would like a tutorial, let me know and I can do a creative tutorial for this build. Of course, with all of the materials listed out, I always do that whenever I do a survival build like this. And there we go, all of the pillars are now put up, and we will do one more outline in between these pillars with our dark oak logs. There we go, that's looking pretty good. Now this will be a 1-story building, there's not going to be a dedicated second floor, but with the roof design there will be space for a second floor. There just won't be a dedicated second floor like what we have over here or on our house. It will be the first floor, and then the roof will start. But now we can do the first floor walls, so that is where our mud bricks come into play, and white glass panes. So if you don't know this about walls, fun building tip, you can use them as actual walls. And when you place glass, they will go from having these weird pillars to being flush and completely flat, and it gives us a flat block look like this, but it's set in a few pixels here, so it gives the build a lot of depth, and it looks great. And I really like mud bricks, actually. We, again, haven't really used mud all that much. We don't even have a mud farm yet, but that will be coming in a very near episode because, like I said, I love these mud bricks, they are great to build with, and I want to have a lot more builds using them. And we have run out of mud bricks here on the back, so I'm going to turn the rest of the mud that we have into the walls here, and then we will return to the ocean. We need the normal bricks for the walls under the roof. And that is all that we were able to get down now, but if we step over on this side, we have a fully completed wall, and it looks really good. Again, we get that fantastic depth, great contrast between the 3 block choices, and of course the white glass panes make the whole build a lot brighter. So we can work on the floor now. This will be good for the sake of our grass stock. And the floor will be primarily oak planks, but of course this is where all of our pups are gonna live, so I think it would make sense to do a bone pattern here in the middle of the build. And of course, why would we use any other block besides bone blocks? So we will outline it with normal placed bone blocks, and then we will do sideways bone blocks in the middle, and that will give us our bone here on the floor, and then we can outline this with our oak planks. And the inside of this build is also going to have a very rustic feel, but finished. It's not going to be like the inside of the barn, the first floor anyway, or anything like that. It is going to feel like we are inside, and it's not going to feel like a barn, but it will, again, have a very rustic feel, but a little bit more luxurious. There we go. So now the floor is all finished, and let's go ahead and work on the roof. But before we do that, let's do the ceiling inside. So we will have these dark oak pillars continuing, these beams continuing across the ceiling, and we will do 2 of these on the length of the build. And then we will have some beams going across as well, and this will break the ceiling up into these 3x3 sections, where we can use our oak slabs to create even more depth. So as boxy, oops, I got rid of my dark oak. We need one more beam going across there. But as boxy as this build is, we are using depth to our advantage to really break it up and make it look a lot more detailed than it really is, because we are using some very basic materials. But if we just use solid oak planks right there and normal mud bricks and glass blocks, the build would look very flat and uninteresting. So by using these different techniques, it really creates a much more visually appealing build. And because these are top half slabs, that means that above it is considered a full block, so we will have to spawn proof the attic area of this build. But that's okay, I plan on using it anyway. So there we go, the ceiling is now finished, and now you can start to see that rustic design that I was talking about. And we will finish off that ceiling right up here with our last little section. There we go, not bad. And now we can work on the enclosures themselves. So we will continue with the stone bricks here at the base, utilizing our walls. And each enclosure will be a 3x3 section, and it's going to follow a similar pattern to the beams that we have on the ceiling. So we will have 5 enclosures here on this side, and we will have 4 enclosures here on this side, with a spiral staircase up to the 2nd floor in that corner. Of course, we have 9 different wolf variants, so it will be an enclosure for each type. And of course, we don't technically have to have enclosures because we can just make all of our wolves sit, but I would like to have them anyway, because why not? And now we are going to make a bunch of oak fence, or dark oak fence, and dark oak fence gates as well. And the gates we will use both on the ground, and we will also use them up above for some added detail. Our dark oak fences will be placed as pillars on these corner walls right there. And we will have some oak hanging signs right above each enclosure so that we can specify what variant of wolf is in that specific enclosure. There we go. And I need to make a few more fences and fence gates, but the general design is finished. There we go, and we will light up the inside with some lanterns placed on the middle of each of these beams, and we will hit the sides as well. We don't technically need to, but I would like to have as much light in here as possible. There we go. And this is what I mean by it having a very rustic look, but also luxury. We have that very dark wood, but it looks finished. It doesn't look incomplete or anything like that, except for this little ceiling right here. How did that escape us? And I can actually use the slabs from over here on this side because, as I said before, this is where our spiral staircase going up to the 2nd floor will be. And this will also be done with oak slabs. And that will just make its way all the way up to the top, stop right there, and we now have access to the 2nd level. I'm going to throw a stone brick wall here in the middle, just going all the way up, so we don't fall off accidentally. So now we have to finish up the mud brick here on the 1st floor walls, and then we can start working on the roof and the extra little detail as well, which you probably know from the thumbnail. Before we get to that though, we will work on the roof, or the roof. Don't worry, that'll be the only pun this video. I take that back, I had to strip the bark off of some oak logs earlier to make the hanging signs, so yeah, those don't have any bark on them. And I'm sure many of you now have a bone to pick with me. Okay, I promise I'm done. So the stair pattern will follow the same, well, we don't really have it anywhere. It's going to follow the stair block stair pattern that we have. We have done this in the past. I don't know where we have done it though. We can't really see anything from right here. We kind of have it on our house, but that's more of a gradual slope. I think the windmill had it. So that is one side finished, and that gives you an idea of how tall this is going to be. And now we have met at the middle on both sides. So if we fly down here, we can take a look at that, and that is looking pretty good. We will have a little bit of a extra design here on the side, which I guess I could do right now. Okay, so both sides are finished, and we will connect the top with some bottom half slabs. There we go, and then here on the side, it's going to be the same pattern, just a little bit smaller. Just like that, and again, same over here. And then these slabs will go in a couple of blocks, and I completely missed that jump. That's okay, we should be able to reach it from right down here. There we go. So now the roof will be filled in with cherry planks and stairs, following the same pattern as the stone brick. Just like this, outlining all of the stone brick stairs and blocks that we have placed. And this will continue all the way to the top. Like that, I still have to place down these stairs, but it will be symmetrical on all sides. So I'm gonna get this roof done real quick. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long. And then we will finish up a couple of other details with this and work on the cherry on top, if you will. Okay, I promise that was not a pun. That had nothing to do with the cherry roof that I am placing on this build, but looking back at it, that's actually kind of hilarious. And I will start saying that from now on anytime I have a cherry plank roof. And the roof is all finished. So I still haven't lit up in here. Luckily, we do not have any mobs yet. I will just throw down a few torches for now, and that should do the job. So again, aside from the walls right down here, we really only have one more thing left to add. I do want to put some slabs across the top of those logs though, just like that, to help close that off and finish the look here on the side. And now for the finishing touch. So again, you probably already saw this in the thumbnail, but in case you didn't, we are building a wolf head on top of our entrance here, and we are also going to have a tail sticking out from the back. So that is what all of the white concrete is for, and the gray wool and blocks like that, the packed mud. That is for the wolf head. So I am going to clean up my inventory a little bit, get everything that we need, and we will finish off this build with that. Alright, so we are going to start with our white concrete right here and bring that out. This is going to be underneath the jaw, so that is where it will be, just for some perspective on this. And I'm going off of a picture, so I'm kind of looking back and forth here. So that will be the bottom, something about like this, and then we will have a little bit more light gray terracotta right there on either side, and then one more diagonally going towards the middle. I'm liking this already. So let's take some packed mud. This will be on top of the terracotta right here. It will also be on top of that, and go down towards the back as well, just kind of in that diagonal pattern. And then with our white terracotta, we will place this in sort of an L shape, like that, and finish this off with some light gray wool and a black concrete here in the front for the nose. So a little bit more white terracotta right there, and some black concrete for the eyes on top of the packed mud. Light gray terracotta in between the eyes, and a couple more there on the nose. And then our white wool around the eyes, just like that. One more row of white terracotta in between that. And then the rest of it is pretty much all white concrete. And now if we fly down here and look at it from the front, There we go. Of course, we still need to add the ears and the back of the head, but that is how that is going to look. Again, it is a very fun addition, just something I thought would make this whole build a little bit more interesting. And again, it is pretty much all white concrete the rest of the way. I will place a torch here in the middle so we don't have mobs spawning inside. I don't want to waste the resources on filling that in. And we have run out of white concrete. I guess in the meantime, we can do the ears real quick. So these are going to be white wool, gray carpet on top, and banners on the sides and backs. There we go. And of course, we can't even see that open gap in the top of the head. So if we fly down here now, that's looking a lot more complete. So we will fire up our concrete machine one more time. And that should hopefully be enough to finish this build. So we are going with white concrete here on the sides as well. We're gonna have a little 1x2 window right here in the middle. And the back will also be white concrete. And we will do red concrete right behind here as the collar. There we go. So from the inside it looks like that. But if we fly around to the outside, that's a lot better. So it looks like the dog is sort of laying inside of the roof, which I think is really funny and also kind of adorable. So let's do the tail real quick, and then we will be finished with this. We will just need a little bit more mud for these walls down here, and these gaps up here are also going to be mud. And the tail is just going to be a plus pattern that will go down one block every 2 blocks out. And we had 5 extra white concrete. I think we do that. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. So there's our tail, and over here in the front, the head of the wolf. I guess we actually have to fill in up top, and now I'm a little concerned because I don't think we have enough, but look at that, the perfect amount. We will have, we will have that little hole under there, under the ear, but that is not visible from the outside, or actually on the inside if we go up to the second level. So that is perfect. I just need to, wow, I am falling in holes all over the place. So I just need to go grab a little bit more mud, get these windows placed in, and we will have a finished build. Okay, that's not good. We are going to need to address that. Of course, I don't think he was able to spawn in here. He probably wandered in, so if we get a couple of doors thrown on here, that won't be a problem for us. Well, it could use a little bit more landscaping, but I think we can call this build finished. And I am so happy with how it fits in with our surroundings, especially with the pink cherry trees and the cherry roof that we have as well. I will extend the path up to the door and plant a couple trees here and there, really make it look more complete, sort of like our town center or our house or other buildings right over here in the rest of the valley. But again, it is a great place to house all of our different variants of wolves, and if we step inside, I went with a cherry door. I thought it matched really well with the roof. So we will have all of our different wolf variants in here, 5 on this side and 4 on this side. Of course, we already have 2, we still have 7 left to get. But that is where we are going to end things for today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. If you did, definitely hit that thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on daily content as soon as I publish it. Check the description for some more important information, links, how to contact me, all of that good stuff. And with all of that being said, comment, like, subscribe, remember to stay optimistic, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye!